Many Ugandans believe that using a PIN or pattern lock on their phone is enough to keep their data safe. Beyond the lock screen, what are the two most important things a person should do to protect their personal information on their smartphone, and why?
So when you talk about data protection, you're talking about personally identifiable information. Information that can relate to an individual. It could be their age, it could be their name, it could be their address, it could be their sex, as long as it connects to someone. So in that case, it's just not sufficient to do that. One of the things we encourage people to do is, even if you have a password, make sure you encrypt that password. You pseudomize that password. So let's say your password is Rebecca. Don't put there Rebecca. Turn the E the other way around, put a hash sign, put a number, because that makes it more difficult for hackers to be able to break your password. Secondly, it's important that all the information you have should always be backed up. When you have information that's backed up, information that's protected, one, you're avoiding people from hacking it. Two, you know where it is, so you know how to protect it, and you can always retrieve it. So those two are very important. It's not just about the passwords. Yeah.
Could you please explain to the viewers, especially for the families and parents who might be concerned about their children? You know, children are now online for learning and entertainment. What practical steps can a parent take to ensure that their child is safe from data predators and inappropriate content on platforms like TikTok and WhatsApp?
Now, child online protection is an extremely critical component in our time. From a personal experience, I have a son. It's very hard to keep children away from tablets and all that. But we must understand the role of these tablets in this digital age. It's a carrot and stick relationship. It's about talking to the child. Create that environment, educate your child about the dangers of using the smartphone. Keep the smartphone away from the child, because children's minds quickly rewire. You know, they are not going to hold you forever because you've taken the smartphone away. Secondly, there must be centralized control access. So you must have passwords which allow certain content at certain times. Your child doesn't have to stay on the screen all the time. So this responsibility is not up to the commission, it's not up to a government agency, it's up to the parent to instill discipline. The same way discipline was instilled in us at a young age, and you know this is bad, this is good, it's the same way, it's the same approach we must use as a measured approach.
Given that we're in a predominantly cash-based society, the introduction of mobile money has created financial inclusivity. But fraudsters are increasingly targeting mobile money users. What is the one piece of advice you would give to someone to verify if a cash-out request or a winning message is legitimate, and what should they never ever share?
One, you must understand that there is no free money. You must work for your money. So it's a mindset thing. You must know there is no one who is going out to give you free money that you have not worked for. That should be the beginning point. Secondly, you must know that regularly official numbers of offices, official numbers of agencies are known. So it's very difficult for you to say that I don't know what the official number is. One, you should desist from listening to these private numbers. Always make sure you look at the number, the 0414s, the numbers which have been communicated by the telecom companies, and even them, they rarely say that you have won something. So one, it's a mindset thing. Two, do not stay on phone for a long time, because when you're on phone, they keep prompting you to give away your password. You know, different things. So you need to be vigilant as a population.
Seeing as everyone is on social media, given that we're in the digital era, could you please tell the viewers, especially when it comes to social media and public sharing? As you know, Ugandans are very social people. We love sharing news and achievements and family moments online. How does sharing a photo of a child in a school uniform, an ID badge, or posting a vacation video in real time make one vulnerable? And what is a safer alternative?
Don't share. When you share details of a child, the school is identified. You don't know who is on your side in that school. It's easy to pick records, because these days if you're entering the gate of certain institutions, certain schools, you're able to provide your number, your name, etc. Who you're dropping, that could be your child. Now, I've been able to obtain your number. I have all the personal information which connects you to that child. It's very easy for me to call you and dupe you based on that information which I've been able to gather. So that's why personal information is personal. It's not public. That information should be used strictly for its intended purpose. There's no reason why you should share your details. I mean, someone identifies your child, the next thing they're online, they're subject to these online scams. You've heard about children who are disappearing. Where do they get them from? Maybe they are known. So it's important that we are cautious, that we know that children are our prized possession, and child online safety, child online abuse is a real thing.
When it comes to the law and citizens' rights, the Data Protection and Privacy Act 2019 exists. In simple terms, what power does this law give an ordinary Ugandan regarding how companies, schools, or hospitals collect and use their personal data?
The power that this act gives you, I'll just give you three. One, you must consent to your information being transferred. You must consent to your information being used other than for its intended purpose. You have a right to rectification of that information. So if, for example, HR has your information, that information is not accurate, you have a right to ask HR to correct that information. It's an inherent right. You have a right to question the authorities that be on the retention of information regarding you. So if you're a staff member, you've left the institution, there's no reason that personally identifiable information, if you have no connection whatsoever with an institution, should still be held by an institution. So you have those rights. There are so many. Even if you have personal information and it is used without your knowledge, there must be a lawful purpose for which that information is being used. So the act is strong, the regulations are quite strong. What we need to get out is for people to understand more about what this act does for them and their rights and the deficiencies.
In Uganda, we have many market stall owners, salon owners, etc. When it comes to these small business owners, a small business uses a phone to store customer contacts, receive payments via mobile money. If that phone is lost or stolen, what immediate actions must the owner take to prevent financial loss and protect customer data?
The first thing that should happen in such circumstances, you must report to the nearest police station. Because when you report, there's a record of what transpired. You're able to get a police report, and it's that police report which you can use even when you go to telecom operators to tell them that, you know what, I have lost my SIM card, my phone was stolen, and it's that will help you to replace that lost SIM card. Without a police report, it's very hard for them to know that you genuinely lost a SIM card. You know, there are instances where crimes are committed with someone's SIM card. Someone is in Kampala, a crime is committed in Gulu, someone is attending to their garden, in Chana Mukaka, suddenly the police is at their doorstep. You're under arrest for a crime you committed just because of having their phone and having their SIM card at the scene of crime. So the core point is the fact that you report, there's a record of that. That absolves you of a lot of issues. That's the first and primary duty you must do. However, we must separate issues of replacement of SIM cards with issues of registration, issues of validation. All those are set out under the Act, but they all follow more or less the same procedure.
So as you know, in Kampala, when you go to a restaurant or anywhere really that is on public Wi-Fi or hotspots, free Wi-Fi in town is convenient, yes? Why is it dangerous to log into your email, social media or mobile money app while using such open networks? And what can you do if you must use it?
You're going into an open wall, so it's very easy to break through. It's not protected. Your emails are open, your apps are open with all your details. It's very easy for a hacker to break through. The control measures are not as stringent as within an organization. You're not going to have issues of authentication. You just log on straight, you're done. Whereas if you're working for an organization, there are multiple layers before which someone can break through. I know you can't tell people to avoid using public Wi-Fi. I'd possibly encourage them to log out of applications which they're using. Pseudonymization, hashing your passwords, creating a very strong barrier helps. But if you can, avoid. But if you can't, create measures for protection.
Granted, majority of Uganda's population is the youth, but we can't neglect our senior citizens. So for the semi-literate or elderly demographic, many of our elders are targeted by voice call scams where callers pretend to be relatives in distress. What is a simple, effective family rule that can be established to verify such emergency calls before sending money?
Charity begins at home. It would be extremely important that even we in our homes are able to sensitize some of our old people because they do not have that knowledge, that understanding. Some of them probably got these smartphones as presents. They don't understand. Someone calls them, immediately they are giving away their PINs. They are prompting someone to withdraw money. Now for us who stay with them, who visit them once in a while, it's important that we educate them, sensitize them as much as we can. If we are able to help them in terms of creating strong protective measures on their phones, let's try our best to do that.
Before selling or giving away an old phone, most people delete files or format it. Why is this often not enough? And what should be done to ensure the next user cannot access your old photos, messages, and saved passwords?
Certain phones have a feature where you completely delete all the images from the software of the phone, but a lot of people do not know that. Secondly, it's important that all information, all pictures, all downloads that you consider important, you must be able to back them up. And back them up, you must be able to create a very, very strong security system around it.
Data safety isn't just personal, it's national. How can careless sharing of photos of government installations, military personnel, or critical infrastructure pose a risk to national security? And what is our collective responsibility?
We should handle data like oil, because oil can transform society, so can data. But if data is misused, it can also be a hazard. Talk about misinformation. We've just had a presidential election recently. You're in a situation where videos are obtained from I don't know where, creating a situation which may not exist. All that creates panic within society, and people believe that information. So it's a high-stake game of misinformation, of disinformation, and it's also a disadvantage to society, to the young, because you put people on a trajectory of believing that the information you put out there is actually the truth. Now, if people think there is chaos, people roll with chaos and create chaos. And it's our role to make sure that information which is put out there, one, is validated, is accurate, and protects our country.